Hey, I'm Gabby with That Makes Sense, and today I'll be sharing this guide that I've created of personal finance subreddits. And if you have MindNode, you can download the file for this in the description. I think it's really worth it to incorporate some personal finance related subreddits into your social media because you're going to be on there anyway, so you might as well learn something along the way. I spend way too much time on Reddit, and I want to remind you that all of these subreddits are moderated by strangers on the internet who you should not be trusting to manage your money or give you advice about your finances. But I do think it is a good idea to have a community of like-minded people to help you get to your personal finance goals. So you can see here, I've broken out the personal finance related subreddits into just general money topics. So under general money, you can see we have personal finance, financial planning, adulting, fluent in finance, middle class finance, money, banking, and then we have some country specific and meme specific subreddits. Under economic-ish, we have things like our economy, but then we also have like kind of politic related type of things. I don't know, I couldn't find a good name for this category. Let me know in the comments if you have one. We have basic income, so people advocating for like UBI, a universal basic income for the US. And again, our finance, not personal finance related. It's more like broad economic, stock market related things. Ooh, and then we get into tools and resources, a huge category as you can see. So tools and resources includes tools, resources, apps, spreadsheets, etc., websites that help you manage your money. So we have personal finance tools. So this is a good place to go if you're like, I want to be able to do this thing with my money, but I don't know what that would be called. You can go there and ask for recommendations from other people, describe what you're looking for, and people can give you a recommendation. Mintuit, very cute, Mint plus Intuit, Mintuit. Unfortunately, this subreddit is very sad because Mint is going away. I think at the end of the year, people have to go find a new budgeting app. Tiller Money, a great budgeting software. It is like add-on to Google Sheets. YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. Ally Bank, Monarch Money, another like holistic budgeting, tracking your net worth, etc. app and website. Schwab, Fidelity Investments, both like banks and big institutions for investing. Personal Capital, a tool for tracking your net worth. And actually it used to be called Personal Capital, but now it's called Empower, I think. Navy Federal, another bank. People are like huge fans of Navy Federal. It's a credit union. Betterment, Wealthfront, Robinhood, and M1 Finance, which are all different investing platforms. These different subreddits with the tools are a great place to like go talk to other users to get help and their perspectives. Then we have identity/phase of life and then employee benefits. So under identity/phase of life, we have like different subreddits that would be helpful to you depending on who you are. So our disability, if you are someone that has a disability, then you might be able to find some really good information on here on navigating getting disability benefits. There's like really special kind of punitive feeling rules around like if you can receive disability benefits based off of how much money you have, things like that. So a great place to ask for other people's perspectives. Henry Finance, Henry stands for High Earners Not Rich Yet. Money Diaries Active. This subreddit is super interesting. These posts are so long. These posts detail like a week in the life of someone, how much money they make, and what they spend their money on for the week. Fire FEMS, so this stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. FEMS, like people who are women identified, femme identified. This also could go under the financial independence category I have over on the left side, but I put it over here because it is specific to identity. Then we have weddings and US government. We have r/weddings under 10K and r/wedding swap. Very interesting. I've never tried wedding swap, but the idea is that you can like swap decor and other types of things related to weddings with other people online. And then US government. So we have military finance, thrift savings plan for people who work for the government who get a TSP for short and want to like talk about what to do with it, what options there are, etc. And then we have, just as an example, r/California state workers. I think there's probably a ton out there for other states in the US. And then under employee benefits, we have Ask HR. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. Go to the subreddit, ask about your employee benefit questions if for some reason you aren't comfortable asking your own HR department. Often I'll see a lot of people on here asking like Is this allowed at my company? So we have debt as a broad category, and then I broke it out into student loans, bankruptcy, credit cards, debt elimination, paying off your debt, and auto loans. Turning, a term for going through a bunch of different credit cards in like a relatively short amount of time to gain like the most benefits out of using all the credit cards. I personally think that this is like too much time. I'm not super interested in getting into all the details of how this works, but there's a community for you if you're into it. And that takes us to our frugal living / surviving subreddits, and you can see there's a lot here. We've got a wide range from buy it for life to dumpster diving, food focused and self-sufficiency focused subreddits. So we have at the top here, buy it for life. This is where people, as the name implies, talk about things that they think are worth buying once in your life or like can last a really long time in your life. We have r/no buy, where people talk about not buying things. Cord cutters, so that's like cutting the cord on your cable bill, things like that. Thrifty, frugal poverty, poverty finance, almost homeless, and then we have zero waste and dumpster diving. So a pretty broad range of subreddits, but all things that are contributing to not buying or being frugal, trying to survive. Over here under food, I tried to look for things that are actually related to finance, but there's a ton of food subreddits out there. We have Eat Cheap and Healthy, Meal Prep Sunday, and Budget Food. So you can see we have things like self-sufficiency, but also DIY, homestead, and homesteading, which is living off the land, urban homestead, simple living, van dwelling. That means you're living in a van or in your car. Anti-consumption, and then aquaponics, hydroponics, canning, so like canning your own food at home, and composting. And then this is a very niche section of Reddit, but we have preppers, people who are preparing for some type of apocalyptic event. And I think in reality, we would have bigger things to worry about, but all of the skills and things that people talk about on the R preppers and our collapse skills subreddits do contribute to saving money, broadly speaking. Depends on, you know, how into it you get. And like, I do think some people use prepping as an excuse to just buy a bunch of things, so depends. That takes us back up to estate planning. And as you can see for estate planning, and then later when we get to tax, there's not really too much out there in terms of subreddits for these two categories. So we have r/estate planning and r/legal advice. R/estate planning is much more specific to like wills, trusts, healthcare directives, documents about when you die or if you're legally incapacitated. And then r/legal advice, much more broad, a lot of just random legal questions, not just about personal finance or like estate planning, but you know, runs the gamut. Yeah, maybe lawyers just aren't spending a lot of time on Reddit. Maybe people are actually seeking professional advice when it comes to this type of stuff. R/retirement, straightforward. R/social security. Reminder for you all, social security is not limited to retirement, but broadly speaking, if you're talking or thinking about social security, you're probably thinking about retirement. So I put in the retirement category for now. Even if you're in your 20s or 30s, I really think these are worth a follow because it's never too early to start thinking about retirement, and you really get a glimpse into what people at this phase of their life are worried about, thinking about, stressed about, etc. So that hopefully you can plan to avoid those things. We have insurance, and yep, there's r/insurance. All right, that takes us to our career section. We only have two levers to move when it comes to our money and building wealth: earn more or spend less. We have broad career-based subreddits like career advice, career guidance, find a path, but then there's also career-specific things, and you can see I only put finance-related things because I'm assuming you're interested in finance here, but if there's some other career that you're interested in, just try typing it into Reddit and you will probably find it. We have r/CFA, which is Chartered Financial Analyst. We have r/CFP, Certified Financial Planner. r/accounting, which I also put down in the tax category. FinTech, which is just financial technology squished together. And you know, sometimes that job, that career is just not going to cut it, and you need to turn to starting your own business or side hustle. See, we have all these subreddits related to starting a business or having a side hustle. I've included r/anti-MLM on here. This subreddit I put in here in particular to help people avoid scams. Beer money, I actually have never tried this, but it's like doing different online side hustles to gain like $5 or $10 at a time, and they call that their beer money. Real estate. I really, truly know nothing about real estate. I don't own any property. In my hopes to become a little more informed, I have followed these various subreddits, but I would love for you to tell me again in the comments if you know of any other subreddits related to real estate worth checking out. Investing was definitely my gateway drug into personal finance. I got started reading books like The Boglehead's Guide to Investing, and you can see we have a Boglehead subreddit on here. We have investing as one category, gambling-ish / memes, and then another category of crypto/NFTs. And I hope that the first place you go is not any of the crypto or gambling related subreddits. Most of my 20s were marked with a borderline obsession with the financial independence retire early movement, and you can see there's a ton of subreddits here related to that, so I'm not alone in my obsession. Broadly speaking, the idea of financial independence retire early is that you're able to stop working a W-2 full-time job and you can spend your time doing other things. If you want to work, you can, but essentially you have enough money to live off of. You don't have to keep working to afford to live. So that's what the financial independence portion means, retire early. Pretty straightforward. You retire earlier than the normal age because you've invested and saved up enough money to do so. And you can see down here there's a bunch of country-specific financial independence subreddits. If you're one of those international viewers, you can check it out here. And last but not least, we have tax. And you can see there's two subreddits here for tax. We have r/tax and r/accounting. Please, again, share any tax-related subreddits that you know of that are good to follow, but these are the only ones I could find. And I guess similar to estate planning, maybe if you're looking for help with your taxes, you're just going to a professional versus trying to do it yourself. So that might also be why there's not that many subreddits. It's really, really important, like I said earlier, to surround yourself with like-minded individuals that are maybe on the same journey as you so that you can stay motivated and just like learn from other people's mistakes, learn from other people's successes so that you can hopefully reach your goals faster.